This section ends with Dr. Harford sneaking back into his Central Park West apartment. After being exposed, Dr. Harford sneaks back home, and as he is entering his apartment, an all-seeing eye of Horus can be seen briefly flickering across his back, as though he were marked man. The all-seeing eye is the long-established symbol of the Illuminati ones, more commonly known as the Illuminati. At first, it looks like a shadow, but this is an impossible explanation. This is because the shadow could not fall upon his back, which was turned away from the lamp itself, which was in the hall in front of him. Simply put, shadows always fall away from the light source, but never toward it. Perhaps the oddest thing about this sequence is the fact that it is never addressed either in the film itself, DVD packaging, plot synopsis, advertising, and the DVD interview segments with Tom Cruise and Nicole Kidman, the two stars of the film who themselves were married during the 3 years it took to shoot this film in England, and who coincidentally divorced immediately after their own participation in the film. The culmination of this tense sequence occurs near the end of the film, when Harford is called back to speak with Victor Ziegler. Interestingly, this scene is precisely 13 minutes. As it turns out, Victor Ziegler was at the ritual. Also, Alice wakes up to find Bill's mask on the pillow next to her. This begs the question as to whether or not Alice was at the mask ball, or was her finding the mask just a discovery of her husband's amorous secret life. Then, there is the matter of a dream that Alice describes, where she was made love to by a nearly endless line of men whom she did not know. As she is describing this, it matches extremely closely to what her own husband witnessed at the ritual he snuck into. This emphasizes something that former MK Ultra presidential model mind control slave Kathy O'Brien often speaks about in her 1995 book Transformation of America.
There is nowhere to run, and nowhere to hide.
However, all this intrigue is completely ignored by everyone associated with this film, preferring instead to emphasize the sexual aspects of this dream story. This is a shame, as I would have been very keen to hear what Mr. Kubrick would have said about this film, such as the reason why he made the choice to concentrate on the Illuminati aspect of the story, while largely downplaying the sexual exploits of the film's central characters, Bill and Alice Harford. When one hears the name of legendary film director Stanley Kubrick, the first thing that comes to mind is the exquisite 2001, A Space Odyssey. This was the first major Hollywood film that showed the exploration of space in a believable manner. Because of this, along with a great story written by Arthur C. Clarke, 2001 was a smash hit throughout the world. Only 4 days after Kubrick turned in the final cut of Eyes Wide Shut to Warner Brothers, he was found dead by his wife. He had no heart trouble, and wasn't ill before his sudden and shockingly unexpected death. Perhaps a clue into the nature of his death is the fact that it occurred precisely 666 days prior to the first day of the year, in which his most famous film occurs, 2001, A Space Odyssey. Everyone was shocked by his death, and this group includes all who were working on Eyes Wide Shut, and his family as well. Even though the official report was that he died of a heart attack, his wife did not accept the explanation. Stanley had not been ill, or even in seemingly bad health. However, according to William Cooper, author of the book Behold a Pale Horse, and the 42-hour series on the Illuminati and their Babylon mystery religion entitled Mystery Babylon, stated during the second broadcast of Mystery Babylon, that Stanley Kubrick was himself an initiate of the mysteries. This helps to explain the film's inexplicable aspects, such as the unexplained masked ball portion of the film, and his shockingly unexpected death, only 4 days after he turned in the final print of Used to Warner Brothers. Not only does this film contain some inexplicable symbology, but in making this film, director Stanley Kubrick may have made the fatal mistake of showing too much truth concerning a group of self-appointed global elite world rulers known as the Illuminati. Well, it may truly be coincidence, but there were many peculiar circumstances surrounding the death of Stanley Kubrick, who was known to be in perfect health just one day prior. When one considers the very real possibility that these 666 days represent Mr. Kubrick being punished for the crime of revealing too much during the 2.5 hours of Eyes Wide Shut, then his sudden death becomes immediately understandable. There are ways of inducing heart attacks while leaving behind no trace of the crime itself. In the sources section at the end of this essay, the reader can find a link to my own August 16, 2005 investigative piece How the Globalists Create Heart Attacks, which describes some of the many ways in which someone could be murdered by what looks to be a normal heart attack without being detected. At the film's climax, Dr. Bill Harford reads in the New York Post about how a former Miss America contestant had suffered a drug overdose early in the pre-dawn hours of the very same night he snuck into the ritual. The headline on the front page of that newspaper reads, "Lucky to be alive." Also, in the newly constructed English suburban town of Milton Keynes, which is nestled in the Chiltern Hills west of London, there are a pair of statues that feature one of the masks from this film. An identical pair of these statues are down the road a bit from the Waitrose supermarket in Milton Keynes, Buckinghamshire, England, UK. The photo below shows this statue juxtaposed with the same mask as seen in the film. Incidentally, the largest landowners in Buckinghamshire, where these Eyes Wide Shut statues can be found, are the Rothschild family, one of the 13 Illuminati bloodlines that appear to control the direction of the entire planet.
In my dream, I'm running.
From who?
I'm not sure. They're wearing masks. They're tough customers.
Customers? What do they want?
Everything, now.
On demand.
They're very demanding.
And you can't get away.
No. What does it mean?
That you're too slow, you can't respond, and you're in denial.
No, I'm not.
See?
Kate figures wearing one of the masks from Eyes Wide Shut were seen in an IBM television commercial shown on television during 2003, where a distressed business executive is relentlessly pursued by tough customers. These masks are shown immediately below, where the IBM commercial is shown in the center, flanked by two shots of this same mask from the film, which of course, is all one big coincidence, I am sure. The name of this advertising campaign was entitled Dreams, which ties into the themes of Eyes Wide Shut. The name of this specific advertisement was entitled Mob, which carries its own connotations. This is saying that once someone gets into business with this mob of tough customers, they want everything, and they want it right now. There is no refusing these people, and those who do, suffer perils greater than the bad dreams this corporate CEO is sharing with his therapist. I know about this personally, as I have dealt with some of the tough customers of my local area. These people do not screw around, and are quick to drop a formerly trusted client once they have decided that they are finished getting whatever it is they want. The day after the ritual, Dr. Harford is foolish enough to go back to the residence, where he is immediately picked up on the security camera. A moment later, a man drives up to the gate, gets out, and hands the doctor an envelope with his name on the front. Inside was the following message, clearly a warning to stay out of their business. These people with whom Dr. Harford gets mixed up are at their core cowards who hide behind their money, security forces, and threats. They fear the truth, and all they know are lies, obfuscation, and semantical gymnastics. In the revelatory scene with Victor Ziegler, Harford is told that he was caught because of 3 reasons. First, he took a taxi to the ritual, while everyone else arrived in limousines. Secondly, a receipt from the costume shop with his name and address upon it was found in his coat pocket. Third, he wore an unfamiliar mask, which immediately identified him as an imposter. Because the Illuminati are such a closed group, it would be rather quickly that someone like Harford would be quickly identified as not belonging. Just as the man in the red cloak is ready to mete out the appropriate punishment to Dr. Harford, a rather dramatic plea is heard echoing throughout the halls. On a balcony, a masked and barely clothed woman cries out for Dr. Harford's salvation. Essentially, she offers to take his place, to receive whatever punishment he would have gotten. The red-cloaked man asks her if she understands what she is asking, to which she replies that she does understand, and is ready to accept whatever punishment that would have been given to Dr. Harford. During the final revelatory scene between Ziegler and Harford, Ziegler is given a newspaper clipping of a story involving the death of a former Miss New York contestant by a drug overdose. Amanda Curran, 30, was found dead after she was unable to be reached by telephone. Ziegler's response was a dispassionate claim that people die all the time, and downplayed any concern that what really took place was a homicide and not an accidental drug overdose, as reported by the newspaper. Also curious about this film is the highly unusual and physically awkward contortion, as shown immediately above. This is representative of one type of Illuminati symbolism.
A number of dictionaries of symbols state that the hand placed on the neck signifies sacrifice. Now, sacrifice can have at least two meanings. One, the continuing threat of the penalties to be applied to punish those adepts and initiates who so impertinently reveal the secrets of the order, and two, the willingness of the individual performing the sign to sacrifice himself for the good of the order, or for the good of the cause or great work of the Illuminati.
Take a good close look at the screenshot of Dr. Harford holding the palm of his hand to his cheek. Has the reader ever seen anything like this in another film? How about seeing this in one of the many films that Tom Cruise himself has done? How about in any other film, by any other actor? I have never seen this gesture or hand sign in any of Mr. Cruise's other films, and I have to assume that it was inserted into this film on purpose, and this is because the context is correct. If this hand over the throat hand sign refers to a sacrifice, this is appropriate, because that is what Ziegler and Harford are discussing, the young woman's life having been sacrificed for Harford's safety. There is a second significance to this sacrifice, as Dr. Harford has sacrificed his innocence for the forbidden knowledge that lies beyond the locked doors of Illuminati and blindfolded eyes of Nick Nightingale. As the dream story draws to a close, the viewer is left wondering just exactly has gone on in this film. Fantasy has been juxtaposed with reality, and the blurring between both worlds remains uncertain. The viewer is left wondering about the significance of the mask laying upon the pillow, as Alice lay sleeping beside it. Likewise, the viewer is left wondering if the events truly happened, or if they were imagined. As filmmaker Richard Linklater, who hails from Austin, Texas, USA, asked in his 2001 film Waking Life, are we sleepwalking through our waking state, or wake-walking through our dreams? This appears to be a valid question to ask, especially given the Illuminati's propensity to inject heavy doses of fantasy, to keep as many people asleep as they can, sleeping as they do, with their eyes wide shut.
I can't get these memories out of my mind, and some kind of madness has started to evolve. to know, is this real?